All right, good evening, everyone. It is January 25th, and our council meeting. January is almost gone. 2022 is on its way, and it's exciting to continue to serve. So tonight, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of January 25th, 22 be adopted. Do I have a mover?
Henry Simmons.
Seconder?
Marvin Platt.
Marvin, thank you. And any additions to the agenda?
I have a very short one.
Okay, what's the addition?
It's about Dynacare.
Dynacare? Good, thanks. Would appreciate that update. We'll maybe get you to share that during correspondence. Would that be okay, Councillor Platt?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's fine.
Thank you. So given that addition, all in favor of the adopting the agenda as presented? That is carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of January the 11th, 22 be adopted. Mover?
Don.
Thank you, Don. Seconder?
Karina.
Karina, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Before we go into the correspondence side of it, I neglected to say we have some people that are here, obviously, and some that are remotely connected. So thank you, Councillor Bickert and Platt. Who else is remote? I think that's it, right? Yep.
Scott's here as well.
Scott is remote as well, right? Okay. So just for your information. Okay, correspondence. We have communication from Boundary Trails Health Foundation, and they are looking for a representative from Winkler. And we have had some names on the list, and I did pursue one, although I got word that just as for any good people, time is of the essence, and didn't feel that now was the time that they could get involved. So we are still looking, and if any of you have somebody that you think would be qualified and would like to join that group, then please let us know. We'll maybe coordinate that through Jody, and so that we can give them the submitted name, or first of all check, make sure that the individual is willing, and then we can submit that name to the Boundary Trails Health Foundation. I know that over the last several years, the foundation probably hasn't been as busy as sometimes, but given the announcement for the new facility that is going to be built in the summer of 22, I dare say that responsibility may increase in frequency over the next little while. So just a note. Marvin, would you help us out here on your update on Dynacare?
Yes, I'm very pleased to have received notice that they are expecting Dynacare to open up again in Winkler's place on January 31st, so it'll be next week, Monday. It's been a challenge finding personnel in southern Manitoba, and they found, so that's really great news for anybody visiting our doctor's offices.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Marvin. So January 31st, Dynacare will be open. So if the public would make themselves aware of that as well, and I'm sure your medical people are going to inform you. Thanks for that update. Moving on to finance, be it resolved the accounts payable in the amount of $818,854.43 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Henry Simmons.
Seconder?
Andrew.
Thank you. We have the check register attached. Any questions regarding the register? If there's none, all in favor of accepting that motion? And that is carried. A carryover, second reading, be it resolved that council indemnity bylaw number 2276-22 be given second reading. Mover?
Henry Simmons.
Seconder?
Andrew.
Thank you. And all in favor? And that is carried. Finally, be it resolved that council indemnity bylaw number 2276-22 be given third and final reading. Mover?
Don?
Thanks, Don. Seconder?
Andrew?
Andrew, thank you. Any questions before we pass this bylaw?
Maybe just a comment that this is something that we do every year. It just updates these numbers to COLA, to similar to what we do with each one of the staff. But there's an additional requirement, obviously, for something like this when it pertains to council itself.
Yep. Thanks, Henry. Thanks for reminding us again. The last council meeting when you introduced it, I said the same thing. So it's nice to have it twice. Okay, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2277-22 to extend local improvement district number 2 be given first reading. Mover?
Don?
Thanks, Don. Seconder?
Michael?
Thanks, Michael. Any questions regarding that bylaw? Jody, you want to maybe just give us a little overview of what that means so that the public
Sure.
can,
We, essentially, right now, we have two LID districts. One
and
is,
it's local improvement district.
yes, that is a local improvement district. One is for the Red Robin Lane. And so the rest, this district number 2 basically encompasses all of the city. And we use that for assessing all of the taxes. It's possible once the Red Robin Lane one is done that we won't need to do it this way. But until that one is done in 2023, this is the way it needs to be done.
Okay.
So we've just added a portion with the latest new development, which is the gardens, and a couple of lots in the Clover Creek development.
Okay. All right. Any questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the attached utility arrears be added to the respective tax rolls. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Sure. Andrew?
Marvin?
Look. Okay, I'll take Marvin.
Sure.
Okay. All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Fire Department year-end report for 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Thanks, Michael. Seconder?
Don?
Don, thank you. Any questions regarding the report? Hearing none. Marvin, you got any comments?
No, it went a little bit busier right at the end. So I think we're just, but very much on par with the previous year with the number of calls.
Okay. Thank you, Marvin. Any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that transportation utility meeting minutes for January 12th of 22 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Andrew, thank you. A seconder?
Marvin?
Marvin, thank you. Any questions? So that covers all of the utility meeting minutes, both in camera and regular, so all in favor? And that is carried. Waste collection, be it resolved that bylaw number 2223-18, waste collection levy schedule for 2022 be given second reading to adjust Schedule B. Mover?
Andrew?
Thank you, Andrew. Seconder?
And Marvin?
Marvin, thank you. Scott, are you on the call right now?
I am.
Are you?
Yep, sir.
Yep, these are.
Okay, do you want any comment in regards to the collection schedule, or is it pretty clear the way it is?
Actually, I believe this is put together by David, so I don't have much comment on the areas
This
that are
is
covered.
similar to the other one where any new dwelling units are added
Right,
to the schedule so that the waste collection can be applied.
okay. All right, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to planning,
Oh, we gotta do it twice, though.
Third reading.
third reading first, right? Be it resolved that bylaw 22-23-18, waste collection levy schedule for 2022 be given third and final reading to adjust Schedule D. Mover.
Henry Siemens.
Seconder.
Michael?
Thank you. All in favor? And that's carried. Next one, be it resolved that tendering procurement policy for 2022 be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder.
Done.
Thank you. Any questions?
That is a big, big undertaking. And obviously, all the work that's gone into it, which is really, really nice to make sure that we follow all the rules that need to be followed so that we're able to effectively buy the products and services that we need. And I know as much as possible, we always want to do business locally, but when we do business at the size that we do, there are legal requirements that also need to be met. And I applaud Scott and his team for putting this together and helping us to really see the different pieces that are involved and what that looks like so that, A, we're fully compliant in everything that we do, but we're able to still do business in a way that makes sense and to actually do business. So in the past, there's been times when I, as a councillor, have been a little bit confused at how we go about doing that, and to have this level of clarity provided, very much appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. My question I had for Scott, can you maybe take us through some of the notes that you had there in regards to number 3, 4, 5, and 6? Just kind of where some of that came from, just for clarification.
Yeah, certainly. Unfortunately, the last part of the shared note didn't make it on, and I just noticed right before the meeting. So, under the delegation of approvals, there is a section where city council approval is required for, and then it lists 6 different points. And so the first 2 are related to whether the project is identified in the current financial year or whether it could fit in the current financial year. The third one there is related to funding required from senior levels of government. So technically, if we don't get the grant, it actually fits within the financial plan category, so we can remove that one and it wouldn't be needed. Number 4, in our previous policy, there was a user department is not recommending the contract to be awarded following the basis of award identified in the policy. That should never happen. I'm not aware of it happening since I've started in recent history, so that we should be removing that. That creates some openness and challenges for our procurement policy that where we should make sure that we're following this policy kind of to a T. Number 5, also not required necessarily. If there are updates that we want to give with regards to projects, we'd give them at the committee level, as well as making sure that we're reporting on previously tendered projects. And then number 6, council is also required to follow this policy. So in terms of making sure that we're recommending award following the policy and the procurement requirements under all of the trade agreements that are referenced in the document. There's the NWPTA, the CFTA, CETA, among other ones as well. So.
Okay, anybody have any questions regarding that?
So for clarity, Scott, those points that you mentioned, those have been removed in this document.
Correct.
So my only question would be on number 6. I realize sometimes you do approvals, but sometimes the projects take a little longer, and then it's always nice to get a reminder where we're at. I'm not sure if we want to weigh in on whether we approve it or not, but how are we going to communicate with council to
I think on that point, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, certainly at any point, we can bring it to council by way of information. The policy is simply saying that it wouldn't need to come for approval, correct?
Correct.
So in terms of communication, any ones that you would be interested in, we can bring to a council meeting for information.
So is there, I'm just wondering, is there ever a time where potentially where a council would change their mind between one date and the date when it actually finally gets approved? I know previously, whenever the tenders were approved, there was always a submission to council informing us, and the wording going out to the person we're buying stuff from was always subject to council approval. Then we had those approvals, right?
Right. That's
So
right.
it was brought before us again. We had one last look at it to make sure. So that's the only one that, when I was reading it, I was a little bit confused, wondering why we would take that out. Not that it normally would be an issue, but sometimes there's information available, 2 or 3 or months or 6 months down the road that we were not aware of the first time it was approved.
I think on that one is one of the, probably, again, Scott, make sure I'm doing this right, but it was one of the stronger recommendations from our legal advice to remove that from the policy, because that would really open us up to not awarding a tender according to the way that it was advertised with the criteria that was used and everything. And so that would open ourselves up to possible litigation there.
But if
Yeah.
you look at it in another way, it may also be to protect, because as council, if all, and I know you guys wouldn't do it, but if council in the future has somebody who maybe wants to circumvent the circumstances and does something that is not according to policy, and council has a chance to look at it, and it happened right here at this council table a couple of engineers ago, and just, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
the rules were all of a sudden changed because somebody that they preferred to have in on the tendering process was included, and the time was changed, and the method of submitting the tender was changed, and that's the only thing that
Yeah.
came to my mind that I thought may be a unintended consequence of removing it completely and opening the door. And I'm not sure if your legal advisors have thought of that.
I think they have. We've used an expert in municipal law, and so this is with TDS, and they've used someone out of their Winnipeg branch that is their municipal law expert. But Scott, go ahead if you want to add something to that.
Yeah, and specifically, like once the project has been publicly posted and publicly tendered, we are committed at that point, as long as it's within the financial means or other circumstances. Like, for example, we canceled the tender last year because of drought conditions. We didn't have a reliable water supply from PBWC at the time. We just couldn't do the project. As long as the scope and the financial means are there to complete the project, we have committed at that point to moving that project forward. And so just because we don't feel like awarding it is not a legitimate means of, provided we follow the policy, to not award. That's a separate issue if someone isn't following the policy entirely, and that's an operational side of making sure that we have those checks and balances.
And I think the check and balance that we have there now is that often it will need to come through me to make sure that the user departments are following the protocol.
Okay. Well, I
We-
just thought it would be a neglect of duty if I didn't bring it up, because I knew there was a situation, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that we weren't opening ourselves up for it, and
Our legal advice is that we'd be opening ourselves up much more the other way.
okay.
And just to address your point there, Martin, under the delegations of approval, there's certain thresholds that up to 75,000, the director has to approve. Above 75,000, the city manager has to approve as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just thought I'd bring it up. Thank you for the explanation. Any other questions?
That's it for me.
Okay. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that MSCW Planning District meeting minutes for December 8th, 2021 and reports be received for information. Mover?
Don?
Seconder?
Andrew?
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding these reports?
Another good year at MCW, and there will be a check coming to City of Winkler again, based on that, but things are going well there for the most part.
Okay, appreciate it.
Another thing, the value of work, that we do contract work outside of our partnership. And last year, we did just over $14 million worth of value of
Projects,
property. So, you know, that,
Wow.
you know, that equated to, we got about $130,000 extra just in fees.
And a big part of it is thanks to the electronic system they have there, and
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys, for serving on that committee as well. All in favor? And that is carried.
just say electronic system and the team they have there. It's a good team.
If you can have the best of electronic systems, if the
Yep.
team is lacking, you're in trouble.
Right.
You can have the best team without an electronic system, it'll still work well.
Yeah, true.
Be it resolved that planning committee meeting minutes for the January 13th, 2022 meeting be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens?
Seconder?
Don?
Thank you. Any questions regarding those meeting minutes?
That was a big meeting.
A long meeting.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Are you guys happy with all those outcomes? Obviously, I hope so.
Yep.
Okay.
All is well? Good. All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that we, council approve subdivision application number 4463, 218177. Mover?
Henry Siemens?
Seconder?
Don?
Any questions regarding that application? Application is there, letter to the municipality is there, basically telling us we need to deal with it.
Very straightforward.
Yep. All right, all
This
in
is the
favor?
place that doesn't have a building on it yet?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor? Yes.
That's why
Carried.
it's waiting, I guess.
Be it resolved that the Discovery Nature Sanctuary meeting minutes for September 29th, October 13th, November 17th, meetings be received for information. Mover?
Michael?
Marvin?
Thank you, Michael and Marvin. Any questions regarding DNS?
That is a committee that keeps on moving.
And they don't just meet once a year,
Oh, no, no, they don't.
but they
And I-
need some more volunteers and more board members. Just-
And I appreciate their collaboration with and partnership with all the local businesses around them. They continuously reach out, and I really appreciate watching those partnerships bloom.
Yep.
It's very well.
Absolutely, thank you. All right, all in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that community services meeting minutes for the January 11th, 2022 meeting be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Seconder?
Karina?
Any questions? Comments?
Comments, I was very pleased that the committee received the concept or the idea of a partnership with Cardiac Rehab and Change Program, and I know Jim Neufeld and the physicians are going to be excited to start the program as soon as we can get to it. It's one of the big things that many of us on council, when we decided about building the Meridian Exhibition Center, that the walking path needed to be included, and this is one outcome where it is really, really important that it is included. So
And it was
that
neat,
was good thought.
Yeah, it was neat at that time that Jim, or I think it was Jim who brought it forward in the first place, saying that they would love to partner with us with having those facilities there, and I'm glad it's working out. And I do also want to add, on Sunday night, my wife and I were walking on the walking track, and there was people on the green side playing baseball, and there was hockey teams playing on the other side, and it was absolutely phenomenal to see. So the facilities, when they get up and running, they are going to be absolutely phenomenal, so.
I can hardly wait for that day.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Just fill that thing up. All in favor of those minutes? And that is carried. Well, folks, it's almost record time.
Wow.
Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover?
Karina Bickert?
Karina, right on. Seconder. Marvin, are you in?
Sure.
Okay,
Come on,
second for
virtual.
Marvin. All in favor? Council meeting is adjourned.